Hi, I thought I'd give you an update on how the garden's doing this year. So this is the start of June, a little bit later in the year to do the first update, but things have been a little bit weird growing this year, so I'll talk you around how the garden's looking at the moment. So starting with flower bed that we put in last year, flowers and plants. So this has got obviously a couple of big massive alliums here and here, which the bees are loving. And then we've got a few other plants, I think Polyminium, which has some flowers, some Heucheras, some other things that are growing around here. We've got a rose, a big Acer which is doing quite well. There's another Acer at the back there as well. This big thing that looks quite tropical, it's called a Fatsia, and that's doing well. We've got some other alliums which are going to be coming up, like these little things are going to turn into some nice pretty flowers at some point. But yeah, so we just kind of tried to cram pack it full of different things, and that's looking quite nice. We've got this little section of pots which doesn't have too much in at the moment. They're mainly waiting for some new things to be developed. They'll probably get filled with lots of dahlias. This one's doing okay. This is growing some stuff from bulbs and from seed, but it hasn't flowered yet. Here's some dahlias growing in pots, waiting to be planted up. Around here, oh, I'm in the way with the shadow, but here we've got some sweet peas. So these are growing their way up this frame, and they've started to flower at the top. Some more dahlias just waiting, and then we start getting into veg around here. So we've got 4 pots here of sweet corn. Last year we only managed to grow about 3 plants, so we started them off inside this year, and they're doing much better. And then if we come to the first veg bed, it's a little bit less full than we'd like, but it's doing okay. So we've got some coriander and parsley here, some lettuce that I've just planted out today. This big section here is all radish. We've got a little section here of rocket. So this is kind of lots of salady stuff. We've got a row of spinach, got a little row here of beetroot, got an empty row where we should have parsnips, but they've just not germinated at all. And then we've got 3 squash plants which I planted out yesterday, which are eventually going to grow up this frame and maybe even over the top. So I put this structure in between the 2 beds. So on this side as well we've got another 1, 2, 3 squash plants that are going to grow up as well. Then in this bed, big chunk of onions. They're doing really well, they're growing very nicely. This section here, some leeks, and then down at this end again, space where there should be some carrots, rows and rows of carrots, and they've not germinated at all, so we'll probably have to put something else in there. If we work our way back up and then look down the edges, so just here we've got potatoes. We've got quite a lot of pots of potatoes, so 1, 2, and then another one here, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to end up with lots of potatoes. We've got 4 grow bags of tomatoes, so some tomato plants here down the edge, and then some more here which are looking good. This one here is a tomatillo, which is like a green tomato. There's a few things in the greenhouse there which are just kind of waiting, some plants and some other things that we're starting off there, and then we'll plant them out later. Oh, we've got some hanging baskets this year, so 1 there and 1 there. Those will be more tomatoes, so hopefully those will do well. And then we've got some broad beans, which I think have just started actually putting some beans out. So they've been flowering for a while, and now the beans are growing. Some more onions, just overflow onions, because we had too many to put into the bed. Another broad bean plant, and then we've got 3 pots of peas. So these are eating peas, which they're growing nice and tall. If we step back, you can see they're about 6 foot tall now, and they've started flowering at the top, and I found the first pea pod yesterday, so should get some peas soon as well. We've also got 4 courgette plants which I've just planted out today. We've got some more sweet peas here. This bush that's growing is a black currant bush, so that will give us a few black currants. They're just starting to grow up here, but they're green at the moment. Next to that we've got jasmine, which grows up the wall and is growing a little bit into the air. That used to be at the back, but we've moved it over here. I think it's just finished flowering, but there's still a few little pink flowers on it. This is a brand new blackberry bush, so we've got black currants and blackberries. Hopefully this will grow nice and big. And then a few herbs, so a massive rosemary bush, some sage, which is all purple at the moment, and some oregano. And then over here we've got clematis, which has just started growing again. Space here to put a load of flowers if we get round to it. Not sure, because they don't do very well in that, because it gets a bit dry. And then a big tall eucalyptus tree. And then this is a bit of staging. We've got some flowers here. This was just a hanging basket we bought from somewhere. And then we've got some more things growing in the background. So some rudbeckias, some echinaceas, and then a load of this spiky looking stuff is cosmos. Lots of cosmos. Kaylee's planted up lots and lots of cosmos. And they flower. They're nice little flowers. So this is one that's just put a flower out. Here we've got some patio pots. So this is some petunias, begonias, different things like that. We've got an acer that's growing. We've got some little pink daisy things, some really big purple, bright white neon daisy things. Those are cool. And then a few things here which have just kind of gone over a bit. So this had lots of bulbs in, and we're just letting them die back, and then we'll neaten that up. And then a little one at the back, one more petunia. So yeah, so some more pots there. And then this is looking back up at the garden. So we've got the summer house at the back, the flower bed, and then yeah, the veg beds and the stuff growing up the edges. So yeah, that's the back garden, the state of things. It's been a little bit tricky because this month's been completely dry, but just having to stay on top of watering everything ourselves. I would very much like a little bit of rain to happen so that we can grow things a little bit easier, and it will just make these things in the beds give them a bit more of a chance. But yeah, not too sure what to do with this carrot space. We've got some big purple sprouting broccoli plants growing. They're just tiny seeds at the moment, this big, but they'll become huge, so maybe we'll put a couple of those in that space, and then we'll crop those next spring. But yeah, that's about the state of things, and I'll give you another update when things have grown a bit more. Bye!